You really want to be a GM? Don't come in there looking crazy. Make sure you're there on time, before time. I'll say it again. The situation, the task, the action, and the result. But don't really understand with that title, there comes the expectations. So those are the questions you really want to ask, because again, you want to understand what that expectation. Financials is going to be very, very important. You might say that's a lot to juggle. It is a lot to juggle. Hospitality is certainly a great profession to be a part of. I want you to be successful. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Ken's podcast. So got a few things I probably want to talk about. had some questions. I had a couple of people that DM me and wanted to know what the life is of being a general manager. So, kind of just let you know what's going on. So one of the most important things of being a general manager, I will tell you, when you're going, before you even go to the interviews, first of all, you better ask yourself, you really want to be a GM? Because it's a very grueling job. And I know for some of you GMs that are out there, you can certainly relate, but if that's what you want to do, trust me, I'm not going to hold you back. And I think that's something you should go for. But the first thing you got to do is, first of all, tighten up that LinkedIn page, go to your LinkedIn, make sure everything looks good. It really aligns with your resume, and make sure you take a look at all your social media out there. Make sure you don't have anything crazy or questionable that hiring manager is going to be asking you about, because I can promise you, I was that guy that was taking a look. I was looking at Facebook. I was looking at Instagram. I was taking a look at everything. And so you want to make sure everything is clean before you even get to that stage. But let's say if you make it there, and good luck to you, and congratulations, by the way. But I will tell you, whatever hotel you're looking at, make sure you do your research. Make sure you are going on TripAdvisor, taking a look at their reviews, kind of hear what the guests are saying about that particular hotel. And the reason why is because that you kind of know what you're getting yourself into before you may accept the job. And not only that, you kind of understand what some of the challenges are. You might even kind of understand who are some of your challenges when they come from a associate level. So it's always good to do that type of research. And so once you get that, let's say you come in for an interview and you sit down with that hiring manager, I don't have to tell you, you got to look the part. So don't come in there looking crazy. Make sure you're there on time, before time. Make sure you're always a professional. Make sure you're well groomed. And that's very, very important. Make sure, like they've always told you, make sure you're giving that eye contact, when you are, going to the interview. And we're kind of compare yourself to those STAR questions. They talk about a situation, a task, the action, and what the result was. So just kind of practice that. I'll say it again. The situation, the task, the action, and the result. Make sure you prepare yourself for that. I know some of these big brand companies, they love to go through those standard questions. So just make sure you prepare yourself. But as we move along and they start asking you questions, these are some of the things you've got to really ask yourself, before you even accept this job. And I know you want to be a GM, and again, it's a great position, but a couple of things you've got to ask yourself is, first of all, where they're at from a budget standpoint, what happened to the last GM, and also what does that 3-5 year plan looks like, because that's going to be very important for you. Not sure they're going to give you that information, but that's always something you need to kind of ask yourself, because a lot of times that I've seen with these companies is that maybe the budget is really far-fetched out there and you had no potential even trying to get bonuses. And a lot of times your bonuses are based on your budget. And not only before your budget, it's your performance. So say, for instance, you're trying to take this new hotel, and a lot of times these companies, they put together a performer and they present it to the ownership group, and that's how they get the funds for the bank and kind of fund the whole hotel itself. Well, sometimes those performers might be really far out there. And now you're trying to grab something that's not even reachable. And so these are some of the things as seasoned GMs you're fully aware of. But these are the things for our new GMs that you don't even think about because you want that title, but don't really understand with that title, there comes expectations. And some of those expectations are making sure you meet budget. And so those are just some of the things that you really want to ask. And I really encourage you to do so because as my career as be a GM, I never ask those questions. And when you find yourself, once you get a job and you're trying to meet these budgets every month, it's almost impossible. And then, they kind of tell you about this big bonus that you can potentially get, but there's so many gatekeepers there that keeps you from getting them. So, I just think it's very important that not only myself, but the people that that are GMs, that we're educating the younger groups and the youth. That way you kind of understand how to kind of navigate. Another thing is that once hopefully everything goes well and you kind of ask these questions and hopefully they're being honest with you as well with the information. The next thing, like I mentioned earlier, is this, say if you're getting a hotel and it does have challenges, whether those challenges might be financial, they could possibly be, maybe associate engagement. They might be customer service scores. You always want to ask, and I said it earlier, is that the question is, what does that runway look like? Does that runway look like 6 months? Does that runway look like a year? What does that look like? So those are the questions you really want to ask because again, you want to understand what that expectation, and you don't want to create unrealistic expectations that you're not successful. I will honestly tell you, just through my experience, if you get in a hotel and say they're in a red zone hotel, and what does red zone mean? Red zone means a hotel that is underperforming. And so a lot of times when you get these hotels, I'll honestly tell you, it might take you anywhere from 6 months to a year to really get it turned around. And that's might be from a financial standpoint or an engagement standpoint or a customer service standpoint, because you figure you got to go in there. You got to kind of understand what's going on. You got to kind of look at the budget. You might have just walked in on that budget. Might not even been a budget you create, but you've got to give yourself time. And then I can honestly say these days, just ownerships and sometimes time is not always on your side. So you got to really hit that ground running. You really got to have a plan in place to figure out what are those key things that you're going to attack first. I'm going to tell you again, what's the most important thing you need to kind of focus in as a GM is that budget. Financials is going to be very, very important when you're going into a hotel, because again, if you're not making flow through and, the finances are not where they need to be, then there's no way that the hotel can make money, the ownership can make money, and that's a problem. And so just understand that these are some of the things that I want you to be aware of, because you might say that's a lot to juggle. It is a lot to juggle. It is a lot to think about, but I know if you come prepared, again, this is what I'm here for. I want you to kind of lock in, send me some emails. You got any questions? Don't hesitate to reach out, because again, someone took a chance on me, someone I went to kind of educate me on the business, and that's what I'm here for, to help you as well. So I hope these little tidbits kind of help you out. Again, we'll walk into some more things. I'll kind of talk about some of the pitfalls, some of the things you want to kind of stay away from, and some of the things you might want to consider. But again, hospitality is certainly a great profession to be a part of, and I want you to be successful. So have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.